Hello, and thank you for joining me today here in Placerville, California at Thompsons, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep Wrangler. Behind me I have a brand spanking new 2018 Jeep Wrangler JL Unlimited Rubicon. And I want to take a few minutes to go over this car and show you all the cool new features they have in this total redesign. I think you'll be very impressed. Stay with me. Now, if I'm being honest here, this really is a nice car inside and out. Historically, you might think of Jeep and think of something quite rugged and capable, but something that isn't the most refined or glamorous. The JL changes that notion. Now, for the first time, you can have refinement and ruggedness together, especially with the lovely leather interior like on this Rubicon. The quality of the materials is a huge step on from prior Wranglers too. The dash is soft, the wheels are light to hold in your hand, and the seats are plush enough to spend some serious time in. And you know you'll be spending some time inside here. It's an aesthetic triumph, featuring a neatly cohesive design throughout, and even the more standard cars have an interior that truly impresses. That's just how impressive and well thought out this new Wrangler really is. Now, it might be hard to tell the difference on the outside between the new JL versus the outgoing JK. For me though, the biggest giveaway is the hood. When I see this hood, I know that is Wrangler JL. The difference? Traditional Jeeps on the Wranglers have always been a flat hood. This has a power wheel, which might be a bit tough to see in here, but there is a bulge here. There's also some nice vents up on top of the hood. Gives it a bit more of a modern performance feel to it. I'm a huge fan of that new hood. It looks like it means business. I like also the little red graphics on here just to grab your attention, and the other thing is the grill. So it still has the 7 vertical slots, but you might be noticing there's no Jeep here anymore. They actually took it away. That's the other way. If you look in your mirror, you see that style grill without Jeep, you know it's a JL behind you. If you see Jeep, that's the JK. This being a Rubicon is also a bit more off-road oriented, so it has a few tricks up its sleeve, but that's not as much to show you on the outside as more just how to control it, because on this new one it's all electronically controlled by just a switch. You don't have to get under the car or change anything. It's pretty sweet. Anywhere you look, there's a bunch of little Jeeps out and about. What I mean by Jeeps is there's going to be a little picture of what looks like a original Jeep from World War II. Just kind of scattered around each spot. There's a spot down here on the wheel in red. It's actually on all 4 wheels. There's a little red classic Jeep right on the wheels. There's one on the windshield. There's one on the gear selector. It's all just all these little tie-ins. It just adds up. I think it builds a lot of character. This is what separates Jeep from other cars, because Jeep has such a rich history. You can't put that on paper. It's something you have to experience and try out for yourself to understand what it means to drive a Jeep. And of course, we have the optional Freedom top. This is a 3-piece roof. The whole thing comes off in 3 separate pieces, of course. Above the driver and passenger side, there's individual little panels. It's almost like an old sunroof, like T-tops. There's just little clips here. 4 of them, I believe. And with that, you can really just lift off the roof. It's awesome. You can see the Allen heads right there. This is in the rear cargo area on the driver's side and also the passenger side there. Those will need to be removed to release the rest of the top, which you can see, that's the black part here of the car. You see the roof, how it's all black, and around this rear window as well. All that can be removed as well, so the car can be pretty much a true convertible at that point. And of course, let's open up the rear. You'll see this bar up top. Yes, it does have a stereo in there, which sounds pretty darn good. This is an Alpine in this model, but there's also a structural membrane hidden in there too, which acts as a roll bar. You see that in the back as well. See that up there? Hopefully you don't roll this thing, but if you do, don't worry, you'll be protected. Apologies for at this point, I had realized the microphone was temporarily turned off. So the V6 in here is 3.6 liters, 285 horsepower, 260 foot-pounds of torque. A lot of that power available in the low end of the rev range, which also is aided by the addition of a brand new 8-speed automatic. This replaces the old 5-speed automatic. More gears keeps you in the power band more of the time. Just think about it, they're now closer together. There's less of a gap between ratios. More power, more torque all the time, regardless of the gear. And of course, the 6-speed manual still remains as an option for the true enthusiasts who want to change gears themselves, quite like myself. The Rubicon has several key adornments to it that separate it from other Wranglers, the chief of which that I can think of is the ability to electronically lock the front or rear axles with just a flick of a switch from inside the car. You can be in the comfort of the car, flick a switch, does it for you. And also there's another button that you can disconnect the sway bars as well. The suspension and transmission is also optimized for low-end pull, being able to really just go over anything in your way. You see a rock, go over it. It's as simple as that. But we are inside the new Jeep JL now, and I want to show you this new Uconnect system. It works, I find, to be pretty good. You have tabs all along the bottom here, radio, media, contacts. So once you're on radio, you got a choice of AM, FM. Down here on the right, just a simple tune knob. Just scroll to your station. You have volume on the left, which also can be controlled. Whoops. Let's see. It's on the right side of the steering wheel. There we go. The right side of the steering wheel. The left side of the steering wheel is a seek button. There we go. Easy as pie. If you want to do music from your phone, anything, once you connect the Bluetooth, there is a phone tab right down there. Adding your phone really is as simple as saying, yes, do I want to pair a phone? Go to your Bluetooth in your settings of your phone, and voila, you got a paired phone. It will play music from your phone. It can do phone calls, no problem. Voice control right there, just takes a click. There's a little beep, and you would just tell it who to call. Answering calls, ending calls. I really like this new display. You have different choices whether you want a digital speedometer, vehicle info. Now this is really cool. This is coolant temp. You can look at transmission temp, oil pressure. It's freaking awesome. And we'll just keep going up the order. The drivetrain, how it's looking. Tells you the sway bars connected right now, pitch and roll. 2 high, 4 high, neutral, and 4 low. But right up here, this is your axle lock. So you can lock the front and the rear by clicking it up, or lock the rear only by clicking it down. Sway bar right here, you can disconnect the sway bar. So, like I said earlier, historically, if you wanted to lock axles or do the sway bar disconnecting, you would have to do it manually. You got to get under the car with tools and do it yourself. Here, it's electronically controlled. You don't have to get out of the truck. You just click a button and it does it for you. And here's that awesome burly gear shift as well. I mean, look at the size of this thing to my hand. This is awesome. Gives a nice firm feel in the hand. You know, makes you feel like you mean authority every time you touch it. And on top of it, there is that little Jeep as well. I always have to remind you what you are in. The touchscreen's awesome. Just a few clicks of your finger, just get back to where you wanted. Hit a browse button. Well, browsing the presets, I should say. It does have satellite XM in this particular one as well. Very easy to use too. It's just, and compass, of course. So when you are out in desolation wilderness, you know which direction you're going. But really, I am just in love with this display system. It's the coolest thing. So that is the new 2018 Wrangler JL Rubicon Unlimited. This particular example we looked at today has an MSRP of $50,390. The base is $40,495. So this does have a few little creature comforts added on, like the leather and the HP automatic. Those do add a bit to the price, as well as what they call the Freedom Top, that removable exoskeleton, effectively. But thank you today for joining me with this fabulous new Wrangler JL at Thompsons Chrysler Dodge Jeep brand in Placerville. I will see you next time. Take care and thank you once again.